Jo, läuft.
Okay. So we're here with Rob Orlando today on a CrossFit, Reebok CrossFit Nürnberg Strongman Seminar. He agreed to answer some questions for us. So my first question would be, why do you actually do CrossFit? What's so special about the sport?
The community, the idea that you can kind of suffer with a group of people. I think that it's what makes the military unique, and it's what makes CrossFit unique, that you have a room full of people that are there under their own choice, and they're there suffering together. I think there's value in that.
So, especially about the Strongman program, just tell us why is it so special? Like, why should an ordinary CrossFitter do Strongman movements?
The movements themselves are so valuable and they're so easily learned. We can get intensity quickly out of somebody. So that if you're missing these movements from your programming, I think it's a missed opportunity. Where if my goal is to get you fit, then we need to do tire flips. There's just value in these movements because I can teach them so quickly and effectively.
Right. So we basically use just the odd objects to get better at like barbell cleans.
Use the odd objects to get better at life.
Okay. Yeah, but especially like at the Atlas stone or the press.
Yep.
I've seen like on the YouTube videos or even today we do this humpback kind of.
Yep.
So in my school, I learned that the humpback is not good. I didn't really understand why is it good on a strongman movement.
It's out of necessity that you have to round over the stone and round over the keg and the log. And honestly, there's nothing wrong with a rounded back lifting position as long as you've built up the framework to support that load. So if we start with, I wouldn't have somebody on day one doing a 110 kilo stone in that position who's just trying it for the first time. But if there's an on-ramp process and somebody's learning how and they're building up their body to where they can tolerate those demands and those loads, then there's the downside in training in suboptimal positions. You know, that why train when it's always perfect? Because when I'm in a competition, eventually the wheels are going to come off. And that's when I'm going to need to be sharp.
What would be the most important factor for improvement for you?
Patience. Yeah. You can't rush getting better. I think that you need to be honest with yourself as an athlete and decide what is it that I want to work on, and how long will it take me to achieve that goal. There are things in CrossFit that I've been working on for 2 years. You know, there are specific workouts that I've been working on for 2 years. You gotta be patient. It's not gonna happen tomorrow.
So like you just said during the seminar that strength needs a lifetime to develop?
Exactly.
Yeah. How about sleep and nutrition? Which one would be like more important?
Both. Yeah, I don't know how you pick. I mean, when we're on a trip like this, sleep has been minimal, and food has been so we're eating like 2 meals a day instead of 4 or 5, and we're getting 4 or 5 hours of sleep a night instead of 7. So, but still able to train, still able to do it. At some point, I'd probably taper off a little bit, but the body's pretty amazing on what it can withstand.
So how would it be like not on a trip, like just back home?
I work out once a day, usually anyway, and then I I eat animal protein, fruit, vegetables, and then a little bit of bread and pasta.
Okay, so you're not actually on paleo?
No.
Why not? Just
I did paleo for a little while just as an experiment, and I felt like my strength suffered. And I'm a strength guy.
So, would you use any other gear? Like you said, you don't use any gear on the workout itself, but I mean for like recovery, like let's say trigger point therapy, something like that. Not at all. So it's just plain you.
I'm a simple guy.
Plain nature. Yeah. Well, that's good. Yeah. I've recently watched some more videos on YouTube, and you said like, what I do is lift heavy things all the time. But do you actually do anything else, like to maintain your endurance?
Usually I run every Sunday. I like going to the track so that I can open up my lungs and work on my stride and just be a more well-rounded athlete as opposed to just a strength guy. And then I'm not afraid to throw in rowing workouts and gymnastics workouts. I work my weaknesses. I train the things that I don't like. I try really hard to get outside my comfort zone often.
Would you even use like your strongman gear, like the Atlas stone for mentor?
Why not? Yeah,
just a question.
Why not? I mean, like I would use an Atlas stone. Sometimes I use the 145 for high rep when I want to breathe heavy. And sometimes I did a workout recently that was a 255-pound thruster for one, 255-pound Atlas stone for one for a 10-minute AMRAP. So that's just a heavy mecca. You know, one back and forth for 10 minutes. It's a good workout. So I use different stones just like anybody else would use different barbell.
So you said that you don't actually have a real program. How do you prepare for the games? Just let it come?
Yeah, wing it.
Sweet. Yeah. That's awesome. I didn't expect that.
I don't. A lot of the guys that I know at the very top, they don't subscribe to any one program. They pick workouts that they think are going to help them improve.
You're speaking about the strength.
Yep.
Just they wouldn't follow mentor fast rerun.
A lot of the guys that I know at the top, no, they're not doing a specific strength workout. But you got to remember, the guys at the very top, they were born differently. They were already strong, right? And I'm not taking anything away from them, but they were born strong and they've worked their asses off for a long time.
So like following mentor would be a good way to get closer to the top.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I'm not discounting that program. I just can't follow it for myself. It would drive me nuts.
How about the games themselves? Can you describe the atmosphere like you're saying?
Amazing. I think everybody who's into CrossFit should go because it's the energy that we had in here today with 50 people is amplified by thousands.
Okay. So I actually have just one last question, which might be most interesting for military we are. We've seen you on the Navy SEAL Fit stuff, and that was just amazing. I think the hardest thing in CrossFit would be to win the mind game. Because for me, it's always during the workout, it's like, oh fuck that. I don't want to win, but you go on. But how do you win this mind game?
That's the vision that they are. That's why we did it.
Because you got to think that every single person is under the same duress that you are. And if I take a stroke off when I'm on the rower, that guy's going to get ahead of me. That's how I deal with it. You know? Everybody's suffering. Nobody's out there walking through it casually. So if you can say, all right, well, he's suffering as badly as I am, and so is that guy, and so is that guy, stop feeling sorry for yourself and just pull up the bootstraps and go.
So that would be like in a walk. But
in a walk.
What would you do? Like, what was your main thought during SEAL Fit?
SEAL Fit was that I knew it would end. That was the driving force. That I knew that I had a plane that was going to pick me up and take me home on Sunday. And I wouldn't, unless I had injury, I wouldn't pull out of that. Because at some point you just have to say, all right, well, I'm kind of in this. And I'm just going to hang around until we're done. But you stop. At some point I stopped worrying about being fast or strong. It's just like, let's just keep moving forward as a unit.
So you wouldn't do anything to like balance body and mind, like just write in the handbooks?
No, there were moments where they had left us buried on the beach, and they just left us there for quite a while. It was about 2 hours. And they didn't tell us what our next mission was. They didn't tell us what we were doing next. They just kind of left us. And while there was a moment of panic, like, well, what are we going to do next? Is it going to be hard? Are we going to be back in the ocean? I had this moment where it's like, well, hold on. what's happening right now is what's really important. That's the only thing that I have real control over, and nobody's yelling at me. Nobody's telling me to get wet. I'm not sanding. I'm okay right now. And that is something that I've used in workouts, moving forward, and in life going forward. That the moment that matters is this one right now.
So it might be quite a good step to attend like Suprfit.
I would, if you've ever had the inclination to try it, I would do it.
So do you use any special strategy like not here to work out again? Like, okay, I have to put the barbell down, I'll take a pretty deep breath and then I'll go on, or just...
It depends on the workout and the kind of day I'm having.
Say 10 breaths?
Yeah, I mean, I usually try to limit my breaths. Count my breaths so that I know that I don't let it get time to get away from me.
Alright? So basically, you're yourself, you're in the workout, you're left.
Yeah, I mean, like I just try to. I've got a job and a focus, and it's like let's keep doing what we can do to march on that path.
Okay. So what's your vision for hybrid athletics?
To get more people in the world doing Atlas stones. That's the goal.
Okay. I guess we'll get them in Atlas.
Yeah, excellent.
Okay, well, thanks you.
My pleasure. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.